Triple E EDC back again with another knife video. This is the video where I go over my top 12 knives that I carry the most. Now, this is not my favorite knives. This is not my my knives that I just love playing with the most. This is the ones that I actually carry the most, more than any other knife. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start. Now, you may be wondering what these are doing here. These are not on the list, so why are they here? Well, I wanted to give you something to look at while I talked real quick, but I also wanted to just, introduce you to some new knives that I have come in recently, and just something that you may be on the lookout for when I do some videos. So this is the Buck Marksman. I may have already published the video on this on the first impression, so I'm not sure if this may come out after that or before it. This is the JE made Zulu with, I believe it's mammoth bone. And this is the Half 40 Sus 410 and carbon fiber Delica from Freydon Lock Company. It's an exclusive to them. So I actually never thought I'd get a Delica, by the way. So I will have some more on this later, and you'll obviously have a separate video on that. I don't know if I'm going to get to the JE made slip joint anytime soon. I may, but keep an eye out for it. Okay, so let's talk about the top 12 knives. And then I'll go over actually a couple at the end that you may be surprised or not on it, and we'll go from there. So number 12 is the Benchmadeinfidel. And I like carrying this on my off days. So if I'm not going to work, if I'm not going to be in an office environment, I carry this pretty regularly with me. I just enjoy the action on it. It's not quite as much of a thud as you would get from, let's say, a Heretic or a Microtech knife, or automatic knife, which I've covered in a separate video. But I really do enjoy the Infidel quite a bit, and it is really easy to carry with this deep carry pocket clip, and it's just, I don't have to worry about it getting scratched up or dented. It's sort of a rugged aluminum. It may get that at some point as I continue to carry it, but it is really solid, and I'm not really worried about dinging it up too much. So that is number 12. Number 11, the Spyderco Manix. Now this version is the carbon fiber, peel ply carbon fiber and S90V version. This has an added backspacer on it. The backspacer is not stock. Also, the back of the spine here has been rounded off. It does not come chamfered or rounded like that. It comes very straight like many other Spydercos. So this has been modded, but I really enjoy carrying this quite a bit. The ergonomics on this are fantastic. It doesn't have any contouring. The scales are flat. And you've seen in my other videos that, I carry the Shaman also, and the Shaman has the contoured handles, but I really do enjoy this. The leaf blade shape on here is fantastic. And the lock on here is excellent. The name of it is slipping my mind for some reason right now. But it's a ball bearing lock in any event. There's a ball bearing inside of this cage. So it is a great sturdy lock, and there's no up and down play whatsoever. There's a little bit of side to side play on it, but that is due to the mods. I believe it's from taking it apart and not quite getting the lanyard tube in right, but I just love this thing. I carry it all the time, and I don't mind hard using it. So that is the Spyderco Mannix 2. This is the Knives Chimera. Now, this knife is crazy as hell, and I love it because it's crazy as hell. It's one of the first knives I reviewed, so the review on it probably isn't as good as some of the reviews I have now, but the action on this is just fall shut action. Fantastic, everything you expect from WE, and the titanium on here feels great. This is one of the hardest firing knives. I'll go ahead and let you hear it. One of the hardest firing knives that I own, and the stonewash finish on the blade is also quite fantastic. So that is the Knives Chimera, number 10. Number 9 is a knife that might surprise a couple of you that I carry it as much as I do, but it is the Magic Whiskers 2, the Protec Magic Whiskers 2. Now, this is the one with the hidden scale, or hidden lock inside the scale. You slide the scale up, and the automatic knife releases. Now, I just really love the ergonomics on this. Feel great in my hand, and the blade on this is quite nice. It's a really good shape for me, and for the way I normally use my knives. The coating on here is fantastic. The body is aluminum. It's nice and hard. I like aluminum knives. I know not everyone else does. The deep carry clip on this is fantastic. It's just a great all-around knife, and the steel on this is 154 cm, which is perfectly good steel, and it was a great steel actually. It's just not a powder metallurgy steel, and it is really easy to maintain, so that's another good plus. Number, let's see, that's 12, 11, 10, 9, so this is 8. Number 8 is the Hinderer XM18. This is, I believe, a Gen 4. I don't think it's a Gen 5. I think it's a Gen 4. But this thing, so I do have other Hinderer XM18s. Or I have several other Hinderers. I have the Bowie here, the Vintage Series Gen 6. And the Gen 6 is a nicer knife, 100%, than the Gen 4. I know some people do like the Gen 4 better than the Gen 6. There's Facebook comments about this all the time, but this one is just really, really usable, really easy. It feels like the edges are a little less sharp than some of the edges on the Gen 6. The Skinner blade shape is excellent. The DLC coating on here is great. The finish on here, I think this is the working finish on the titanium, is fantastic. I really love this Warthog scale, and it's just a great all-around user. You know, I really find myself using this quite a bit, which in this price range, I don't usually use my knives quite as much as I do this one. All right, number 7 is the Benchmade Teri. This may surprise some of you. It is, you know, more of a military application, law enforcement type knife. But I really enjoy this because it's really, really heavy duty and hard use. It feels solid as a rock, no matter what you do, no matter what use you're using it on. The blade shape is fantastic. The stone washing on here is great. I believe it's a stone wash blade. Someone can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but that's what it feels like. Either that or it's just a really, really nicely done satin that feels a little bit different than some of Benchmade's other satin. The G10 scales on here are great. The ergonomics are good. I wish it feels like it needs a choil, but other than that, I really enjoy it. It has this nice deep carry pocket clip, which hides a lot more knife than you think, given how much sticks up. Just an overall great knife with the axis lock. That is my number 7. Number 6. Benchmade 943S, the BK version. So this is, one of the reasons I carry this so much is because this was my first knife. I did a separate video on it. I even told some people that I was going to upload it soon. That was maybe several months ago. It didn't get uploaded because the video got corrupted and I was not able to post it. But I will do a video on this knife, which was the first knife, the knife that broke me, the knife that got me into knives. This is just one of my favorites. I don't usually go for the combo edges, but I just love it on this knife. And I carry this thing all the time. This is also my stand-in for the 940 because I carry the 940 a lot as well. And this is the Smoky Mountain Knife Works version of the 940, this one right here, with the red infused carbon fiber scales, M390 blade, and red thumb studs with smoky standoffs. All right, number 5, Chris Reeve Inkosi, large Inkosi. This is just a beautiful, beautiful knife. The action on it is smooth as butter, that glassy smooth feel you get from CRKs. The construction on it is immaculate. The tolerances are tight. You know, the micarta feels excellent in your hand. You get a good grip. It's a perfect, you know, light hollow grind where it still has great edge stability, but gives you some of the benefits of a hollow grind. It's just a great knife, and I really enjoy this knife. This definitely deserves its status as number 5 on my most carried knives. Number 4 is the Spyderco Shaman. Now this is true of the Spyderco Shaman, both in the Cru-Wear and the Cru-Wear and the micarta, and the S90V and the carbon fiber. But I'm going to go ahead and use this as the stand-in for both together. Both combined are one of my most carried knives. I love carrying both of those. And there's a lot to love about the Shaman. You got the front flipping action that you can do on it. You've got the nice thumb roll out, all the Spidey flicking that you can do on it. You've got this nice stout blade, great blade shape, contoured handles that just really melt in your hand, whether you're holding it back here or up here. Both holds feel really natural. It's just a beautiful, beautiful hard use knife. Number 3 is the Microtech Socom Elite. I carry this a lot more than I thought I would when I first got into knives, and I just really enjoy it. The steel on this is great. This is 204P, but I've had, you know, versions at M390 and some other steels as well. The action on this is butter. It's on bearings. It just falls shut once you get past that detent. Beautiful, beautiful knife. Now this one doesn't look as used as for something that I'm claiming is that I use as one of my most used knives. There's a reason for that. This one is fairly new to my collection. I've owned several other Microtech Socom Elites. I did sell those off, so now this is the only one here, and it is starting to get carried. It hadn't been carried much before just because I was using the other ones. But now that I have this one, and this is the one that I have left, I will be using this a lot more, and you will see it get more used than used, because this again is one of my favorite knives to use. So that is number 3. This is the Benchmade Bugout, number 2. This is just really easy to carry as a backup knife anywhere. And so no matter what else I'm carrying and I go through a rotation, this might be on my person. It's not always on my person, but it might also be on my person as a secondary backup knife. So this is, it's funny because I fought getting a Bugout for so long. Many of you guys know that I was not wanting to get one because I like larger knives. And then I go get this one and I get the scales to upgrade it, which is one of the few knives that I've ever upgraded. And I just carry it incessantly all the time. Another reason it gets carried a lot is because this is the easiest knife I own to carry with shorts, basketball shorts, anything like that. So when I'm going out and, you know, I'm in basketball shorts, if I'm walking around the house, if I'm going to the gym, whatever it is, if I want to have a knife on me, this, and I usually do, this is very easy to carry in shorts. You do not notice this. It doesn't flap around like, you know, stuff flaps around in your pocket sometimes, depending on how deep they are. In basketball shorts, this avoids that problem, and it just has one of the best clips on the market. This Benchmade Bugout mini clip is by far one of the best clips anywhere on the market, and you just can't beat the weight of this thing, how much blade they pack into it, for how much handle you get, and just everything about it. The ergonomics for such a small knife are great as well. All right, so that's number 2. Number 1, what could it be? This might surprise a couple of you. If you've been watching my channel, it may not surprise you, but it is the Benchmade Proper slip joint. Now, I'm a guy who didn't really get into slip joints really ever. I bought this thing. It sat in my case for about a year. I never used it, and I just didn't see a use for using it because I'd carry other folding knives. But eventually, I just started carrying it as a backup whenever I didn't carry my Bugout, or if I wanted, you know, if I knew I was going to be out somewhere where you know, needed something less threatening than, you know, a normal folding knife, or maybe just even I knew I was going to be eating an apple or something, and this is just a great one of those great apple knives to get. Whatever the reason, it's just really easy to drop in my pocket. I forget it's there half the time. Sometimes I put it in the slip, sometimes I don't. But this is by far my most carried knife. I carry it almost every single day, unless I'm carrying the Bugout. And even sometimes when I do carry the Bugout, I'll still carry this anyway, just because I might forget it's in my pocket or whatever else it is. So this is my most carried knife. Now, what are the knives that you might have expected to be on the list that I have? Because I have a lot of knives that aren't on the list. Well, noticeably absent are a couple of really huge standby knives that everybody gets. Spyderco Para 2 and Para 3. So why are these not on the list? So I do carry them both somewhat often, but not as much as these other knives. But honestly, I just find myself gravitating, if I'm going to carry a Spyderco, almost, you know, at least 80% of the time, I'm either picking up a Shaman or the Mannix. It just is. That is what it is. That's what I'm picking up most of the time. So a lot of it has to do with I just think the Shaman is a better knife than the PM2. And the Mannix and the Para 3 are, you know, not crazy amounts different as far as the blade length. I think the Mannix 2 is just more ergonomic. The Para 3 is probably more ergonomic in the choked up position, but in the back position, the Mannix wins outright. So, what other knives do I have that really might have expected to be on the list? The really only other two that I think fit that category are going to be the Benchmade Super Freak and the Benchmade Griptilian. So, on most days when I'm going to reach for my Griptilian, I do reach for the Freak instead. So the Griptilian really doesn't get carried all that often. It's really, you know, for when I'm just hard using something, since this is a user, and I don't want to get something else involved in it, I'll use this one. So that is the main use for the Griptilian, just doesn't get carried that often. And then the Super Freak. So the Super Freak actually does get carried somewhat often. This is probably number 13 on the list. It just didn't make the top 12. Excuse me, there's just a lot of others that I carry on a more regular basis. It's beautiful to use, great action. Some of it is, I really like this knife and don't want to mess it up, which is odd because I have some more expensive knives on this list that I use and don't mind messing up. But for whatever reason, this is just one of those ones where I use it for a lot of stuff, but then I don't use it for other stuff where I could use it for that stuff. And then one other reason why is because this is M4, and yes, it's coated M4, but I live in Houston. It's wet, it's hot. There's sweat, there's humidity, there's water around, so I am a little bit concerned about corrosion as well, depending on the circumstances. So that's my list. Again, the most carried knife is the Benchmade proper. But until next time, guys, go ahead and hit that like button, leave a comment, drop a comment down below. Let me know what your most carried knives are, and also hit the notification bell and the subscribe button so that you can get all my content. Thanks so much for watching.